Please welcome JS to the front for another presentation.
Hi. At first I needed a PowerPoint for this, but it's not working, so I'll just do my speech without the PowerPoint. A lot of people after my Quebec presentation thought that I should do a presentation on Canada, so that's what I'll do. I'll do my top 10 Canadian, my top 10 favorite Canadian provinces. So before I begin, I was obligated to say this as a full disclaimer. The information provided in this presentation is for entertainment purposes only and does not substitute for professional advice. This presentation makes broad generalizations and engage in making fun of stereotypes of Canadians in every province. It's nothing personal against anyone, and during the writing process of this speech, no animal or newfie were mistreated. Number 10. So this is my number 10 most favorite province. Newfoundland and Labrador. No, okay. So the first thing I think of when I think of Newfoundland are the Newfies. The Newfies are to Canada what Belgians are to France. Basically, all the jokes are on the Newfies. Have you ever seen a stupid warning on a new equipment or something you bought, like don't drink the liquid on car batteries? Well, to us, it seems obvious to not do that. But those warnings are there for the Newfies. And this is why Newfie jokes are not that popular anymore. Canadians have realized that there is no such thing as a joke on Newfie. They're all truths. I put Newfoundland in 10th place because Labrador used to be part of Quebec, and the government of the government of Canada gave Labrador to Newfoundland to convince them to join Canada and not the US. As if we really needed Newfoundland. In my opinion, they would have been better off in the US. Okay, number 9, Manitoba. Manitoba is like no, the PowerPoint doesn't work. Manitoba is like a haunted house. You don't talk to anyone, you don't touch anything, and you get out of there as fast as possible. Whether it is by car or by plane, Canadians have to pass through the province to get from one side of the country to the other. The Trans-Canada Highway is their most famous tourist attraction. And it's easy to get out of Manitoba because the roads are so straight and so flat. You enter Manitoba, you see the sign that says, welcome to Manitoba, and off in the distance, you see the sign that says, goodbye Manitoba. Number 8, Prince Edward Island. This is a big dune of sand in the middle of the ocean with a population the size of Sherbrooke. It's so tiny. Why is this called a province? I built sand castles in Cancun that were bigger than Prince Edward Island. I don't know, I just think there's something wrong when the fisherman at your local marketplace also works on the sideline as the prime minister of your province. Number 7, Saskatchewan. We used to have a student in Ross House who came from Saskatchewan, and he might be upset to learn that I put this province in 7th place. But in my defense, there are too many hayfields, and there's little to no roads in Saskatchewan. They travel by horse, and I think that's not a very efficient means of transportation. And trustingly, the horseback riding crews here at BCS used to have field trips to Saskatchewan, well, before COVID. At least, I like to think that they did. Okay, right. And number 6, Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia is a very peaceful place. Their clocks are 1 hour ahead of everyone else in Canada. This time difference isn't so much as a time zone, rather it's the time it takes for someone from Nova Scotia to achieve the same things as the rest of Canadians. It's like when you're racing against your little brother. You're giving him a head start, fully knowing that you'll catch up and win in the end. Right. Number 5, British Columbia. British Columbia is the birthplace of the Green Party and the movement for the legalization of marijuana. It's no wonder that they have an island called Vancouver, and the city of Vancouver is not on the island. I put them in 5th place because they're very nice people that I think they just need some help. Also, my aunt who lives in British Columbia says that they have the greatest mountains there. Now, number 4, Alberta. I like Alberta. It's like the Canadian Texas. The first thing that comes to mind when I think of Alberta are oil, big pickup trucks, and the rednecks of the Conservative Party. Also, I've looked up online for tourist guides, and apparently they have the greatest mountains in Canada. No wonder why British Columbia and Alberta say the same thing. They're looking at the same mountains from different sides. Number 3, Ontario. We've discussed the various provinces so far and their uniqueness, but what is a Canadian? It's an Ontarian. Do you know how to find out if a person is coming from Ontario? No need to ask. He will tell you anyway. He is so proud. That's also why I put them in 3rd place. If you ever wanted to visit Canada, you only really have to visit Ontario. Like they have Niagara Falls, the CN Tower, the Great Lakes, Justin Trudeau. The only thing you'd be missing are the Rockies in the west and the Rock in Quebec. Number 2, New Brunswick. New Brunswick is the only province, Canadian province, that is officially bilingual. It's not that complicated. Whether you speak French or English, you won't understand what they're saying. They speak both French and English at the same time. That's what they're really trying to say when they say they're bilingual. But I put them in number 2 because my dad told me this morning that I was conceived in an Airbnb in New Brunswick. But I wasn't born there, so they can't be first. Now, moving on to number 1, my number 1 most favorite province, Quebec. I can't really explain to you why I put Quebec in number 1, because love cannot be described by words. But I will say this: everything that is Canadian is better when done by Quebecers. Like, as you all know from my previous presentation, poutine is created and popularized by Quebecers. But did you know that 93% of maple syrup was produced by Quebec. Think about it. If Quebec was a country, it would produce more maple syrup than the country of maple syrup. And I'm leaving you with these deep thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, JS. I just wanted to remind everybody, in case you don't know, JS is doing these comedy bits as part of his CAST project, which is an independent project that Form 6 and Form 7 students have to do here. So just a reminder to Form 6 and Form 7 students, if you haven't started thinking about your CAST project or you have some ideas, come see me about it, okay? Thank you.